What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Just got finished doing the Dan Salio show. You know, it's funny how people always make fun of me because I put out a lot of content. Just because I put out a lot of content doesn't mean anybody has to watch it. But it's always the big dig on Mark Holmes. He puts out a bunch of videos. Well, I put out stuff that I hope that people are interested in. And if they're not, well, it shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't matter. But what I do is I am constantly keeping myself extremely busy, okay? Whether it's doing my day job or whatever, I am always thinking and multitasking and doing a lot of different things. Like, for example, right now I've got to go to the high school because they are having a comprehensive planning. So for the city of Waynesboro, they're trying to figure out what is it they want to do for the next 20 years. So people always complain about this was done or that was done and so on, but they don't participate in the planning of things. So if you don't participate in the planning, don't complain about the outcomes, okay? So that's what I'm doing. But I saw something that actually I loved seeing, okay? I put out a video a week or two ago about the leadership vacuum that the Cowboys had. We know that D-Law was one of the leaders of our team. And then, of course, it became Micah Parsons' team, so to speak, because Micah Parsons, visitor parking, there we go. Because Micah Parsons, of course, was the best player on the defense, so you assume that he would just become the de facto leader on the team. But I don't think that he ever really became the leader of the team other than in name. I'm not sure that everybody liked him as the leader and so forth. I think he ruffled a lot of feathers because people would look and see, you're sitting here busting your chops and stuff on us, and you're doing a podcast with the enemy and so on. That instead of having conversations with guys outside of one-on-one, he's doing it on his podcast and so on. Kind of like what happened with the Colin Cowherd going after him and him saying, Mike is not putting out like, a $47 million man would do. And he defends himself and say, hey, you're a clown because we're holding teams under 13 points and losing, but he doesn't recognize that you're throwing your teammates under the bus. And as a leader, you shouldn't be throwing your teammates under the bus, okay? Is that? Wow. It's crazy. That's actually a patch of gray along with, I think it is. Yeah, wow. There's like a big patch of gray right there. It looks like I've got something on my face, but it's not. That's just gray, black. Oh, well. Happens when you get old. Anyway, it looks crazy from this angle down here. It looks totally different up there. But anyway, it looks like somebody took a marker and just went like that, like I was trying to make tiger marks on my face, but no, it's just the coloring of my hair. We may have a leader on the defense, and it may be Quinton Williams, because Quinton Williams he didn't put his teammates on blast or throw them under the bridge or under the bus. What he did was he said, it's going to take all of us. It's not just one guy. I can't do it all on my own. Now, he was a one-man wrecking gang. You see him with 1.5 sacks, 7 pressures and everything else, 2 tackles. He was everything that you wanted for the guy that you just traded for. He really was. And you look at that and say, oh my God, we got a stud here. But now he is rallying everybody else to try and make a difference on this team. And there has been a void of a leader, of a guy who you look at and say, yeah, this is the guy that you want to follow behind, okay? This is the general of the defense. This is the guy who is leading by example. And by being a leader, sometimes you got to know when to put a foot in the guy's ass and put the fear of God in him. And you also have to know sometimes when you need to give a guy a hug. I know Eagle fans are probably like, hey, he's talking about hugging players, Brokeback Mountain and some bullshit is what they'll come up with. But you understand, if you've been on a team and trying to work together and really come a team, You need a guy who's a leader, that when shit is hitting the fan, he knows what to do. And I dare say, what you have to understand with this team too is, this team going into the season was the third youngest team in the NFL. And so when you start looking at guys like Donovan Ez, when you start looking at, even Osa and Digazua, you start looking at Celand Carson, you have a lot of younger players on this roster, where Quinton Williams, who has been on the Jets his whole career and has had very little success being a Jet, one is probably excited as can be, because he looks and he says, we got an offense that can play. We step up and we can play just like the Jets did. Now, you can say what you want about the Jets being losers, but the Jets have had really good defenses in the time that Quinton Williams has been there. And if he can bring that defense here, that mentality, that tenacity and things, and teach these other guys how to win, he can coalesce the defense. Now, again, everybody keeps pounding me down and trying to steal my thunder and tell me it was just the Raiders. It's just the Raiders. Well, the Cowboys, who are in playoff mode right now, every week is a playoff game for them. They win, they keep their hopes alive. They lose, you might as well say it's over. We can see, although maybe we can't, because the Eagles' offense is pretty putrid. The Cowboys can go out there and hold them to 15 points, and you still don't really know what the Cowboys are, because the Eagles' offense is bad. You want to know how bad it is? Or things that have happened that are literally surprising to me, that A.J. Brown is right almost exactly half of what George Pickens' yards are this season. Almost half. It's only by a couple of yards that literally Cooper Beebe is rated higher than Cam Jurgens per Pro Football Focus. And even though Philly 500 wants to say that Jalen Hurts is better than Dak because they're 8-2, that's the home review. Bro, here's what I say. If you take that defense that the Eagles have right now and put that with the Cowboys are undefeated with that offense. And that's a fact. That defense of theirs is incredible. And it's the only reason why they're 8-2. It ain't Jalen Hurts, although not turning over the football, you could say, is part of it. But it ain't Jalen Hurts alone. All right, people. Got my meeting to go to. Peace out.